there's been multiple times where, by the grace of God, this thing was kept moving forward. There was lots of times that, things, when we started, deals weren't getting done. And when you have a staff and payroll, it's a very scary thing as an owner and operator, because if there's no money coming in the doors when you start, and you're putting a lot of money out the door, you can only keep that up for so long.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, at about our 11th month, we closed our first major deal, and it was about it's about a couple weeks a leeway there we had, or I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So,
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Hugh Edmonds. You know what I'm going to say? I'm excited. I'm excited to be here today. I have another fantastic guest. He's going to take us into the niche of commercial, but I love what this guy's doing and what his team is doing. They love helping people. They love doing things out the kindness of their heart, and that's kind of led to kind of like a sister kind of business to what they're doing. And so I'm gonna let him explain all of it to you, but I am super excited to introduce you guys to Mr. Matthew Horne. Mr. Matthew, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, Quentin. Thanks for asking. How's your day
Absolutely.
going?
Oh man, day's going good. Excited about this podcast episode. We've been talking, I think so far so good. Even though we don't agree on the same football team, we have committed to be cordial with one another today.
Today,
Yeah, right.
2 Sundays from now. No.
Exactly. I don't like you, Matthew. Get him off the stage. No, but I'm so glad that you're here, man. And listen, I kind of just want to dive in. I want you to take us into your world. Tell us, what your main focus is these days. If you want to give us a little bit of an origin story of how you got into real estate, we would love that. And then tell them what markets you're operating in. And so, sir, the floor is yours, man.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just kind of give you, my background. I was in education and finance for about 10, 15 years. Worked for, one of the big shops on the investor side of things, and was with a group called The Money Show. I was working with high net worth investors on everything from, cannabis to precious metals, to crypto, and really how I fell into commercial real estate, specifically self-storage. I took a friend to dinner who had just opened up a shop out of Philadelphia, and I thought I was going to be pitching him on getting some investors his way. And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing self-storage." And I'm like, great. I can help. What do you need investor wise? And he turned to me and said, "I don't need investors, man. I got to get, it's a very large number in millions. A very large number, about 350 million out the door in the next 6 months." So for me, my head was obviously spinning, and I was like, tell me more about self-storage." And
Yeah.
long story short, talked to him and how can I help? With my my background, I'd love to help be a part of this. And I was the first acquisitions hire for that team.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
We went on to do over $1 billion in acquisitions. I think we were the fastest growing private real estate company in the country. So it was just an amazing experience, getting to do it at the highest level on the private side. And really it just kind of got time. It was about 4 years in there and kind of hit my ceiling with growth. And one thing about me, I love challenges and, I love to have, goals, and I felt like I'd kind of tapped out where I was at there and time to spread my own wings. And that was in, late 22. So rolling into 23, opened up Storage Point Capital, and I wanted a challenge, and wow, did I get one. We opened our offices up in March. And really around that same time, the interest rates, basis points went up about 500 points, overnight, kind of flipped, the market, on its head. And really transactions were at a standstill there for quite a few months, and really had to think outside the box, to stay afloat. And thankfully, during that time, we built a hell of a team and, some really, dynamic, players that can think outside the box. And, we were still able to get deals done, getting creative. And yeah, it was, until we're here today, it's been a wild, bumpy ride, but really, very excited about what we're seeing, in the horizon.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love you. You're a great storyteller. I love to hear, man. You said, you thought you was gonna pitch him on investors, and when he told you, you like, oh, wait, tell me more. Like, hey, give me a little bit more about what it is, what you need, man. But I love it. I mean, you seen the opportunity. I love how you said you like the challenge. So you seen the opportunity. It clicked with you, and it made total sense to go after it, and you found success in it. And I absolutely love that, man. Mr. Matthew, I kind of want to pick your brain because I love your origin story is beautiful. I'm always interested on kind of where these passions get pulled from. And so I want to know, about strategies and maybe passions, kind of a little bit both. And hopefully this question is not too overwhelming like the way I asked it. But I want to know some business strategies that you use that are really core to you, but I would also love to know some personal strategies that you use that you feel like are core to you. And I know, some people do like going to the gym, going for a walk. But what are some personal and business strategies that are core for you that kind of keep you remotivated because you're a goal-oriented person, so kind of keep you going after it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, on a personal level, I'm very, structured, and what I'm doing on a daily basis. Obviously working out is a huge piece of that. Mentally, sharp. It's not something I do because I love it. It's something I do that really helps, keep me, focused.
Yeah.
So working out is definitely at the top of that list. And, as far as, the business practices, I've always led with transparency and honesty and, being who I am. And that's something that I'd never change. And that's something you see in the commercial real estate space. You see a lot of really successful people, and, how they got there is not, something that I would want to emulate. Kind of just always told myself that I'm going to lead with transparency, and if it takes, if it takes my entire career to get there, so be it. But, I'd rather, build a solid network through honesty and trust, and be a real handshake, type of businessman. And that's kind of the way I've always led.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I appreciate that so much. You're absolutely right. So many people are financially successful but morally broke, and it's funny because that financial success, I think we determine our success, like what success looked like for us. But that success comes from the millions to the multi-millions, but even sometimes to the thousands, right? And you can be what you consider success, but morally corrupt, morally broke because you didn't stay true to, like you said, integrity, honesty, transparency. You kind of did, cut all the corners. And so I appreciate you saying that because I think that in this day and age, it's definitely important to be grounded, to know who you are. That way, you know how to operate in every situation that you're in, whether it's business, personal, or otherwise. So yeah, so I appreciate you saying it, sir. Um, yeah, man. So, you know, you found great success. You started. Let me make sure I put some respect on this name on Storage Point Capital. Has there been adversity as you've been building? Have you hit in any bumps in the road? Like, sometimes deals go sideways, sometimes you have to pivot fast. Had there been adverse moments as you was building?
Oh my, yeah. Um, there's been multiple times where, by the grace of God, this thing was kept moving forward. There was lots of times that, things, when we started, deals weren't getting done. And when you have a staff and payroll, it's a very scary thing as an owner and operator, because if there's no money coming in the doors when you start, and you're putting a lot of money out the door, you can only keep that up for so long.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, at about our 11th month, we closed our first major deal, and it was about it's about a couple weeks a leeway there we had, or I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So,
Right.
um, we've definitely had some of those moments, and I think anyone that's going to build a successful business, you're probably going to have those moments,
Yeah.
because it's a very scary thing, and it's a lot of risk. And looking back at it, if I knew the things I was going to go through and left the career that I had, I might have questioned it a little bit more,
Yeah.
knowing the challenges that I was going to face. But yeah, there was definitely some speed bumps along the way, no question about it.
Absolutely. What keeps you motivated after those moments? Like what well do you pour from in those moments? What keeps you motivated?
Really, obviously, family is a huge piece of that,
Yeah.
and my team.
Yeah.
It's for me. I obviously, love success. I
Yeah.
obviously want everyone to be successful, but, making sure every one of my team members is successful, is more important to me. My success can stay in the background, or secondary, to my team's success. My
Yeah.
acquisitions team, my analysts. I want to see all of them flourish, and
Mm.
that's really what drives me. And it's been exciting to watch. People that have been with me for the whole ride, kind of where they started at and where they're at now and where they're going to be at in the future,
Yeah.
is really what keeps me motivated.
I love it. I love it. And we probably gonna come. I'm probably gonna come back to you talking about your team and your relationships. But I want to ask this first. What's the next real goal for Storage Point? Like, what's the next real goal? What are you looking to solve next?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, so right now we have about 10 properties along the East Coast from Pennsylvania down to Florida. And we've done that in a very, challenging climate where we've had to get creative, a lot of different, deal structuring to be able to make things work with where interest rates are. It's very difficult to get to the numbers that sellers want without getting creative. So, that was one of the things that, that we had to do just to get to where we're at. But as we see the writing on the wall, interest rates coming down, there's bid spread, getting closer and closer. We'd love to double where we're at right now over the next 12 to 18 months. That's our goal. And with that, we have capital relationships and so forth. And, we're really getting, the programmatic equity in place where, we can really, run as opposed to kind of walk, which is kind of how we've been moving so far.
Absolutely. No, love it. Love it. Looking to double where you at. And I think you said in 8 to 10 months. Did I hear that correctly?
To 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18. I'm sorry.
8 to 10 would be fantastic. I'll take 8 to
Right,
10.
exactly. Right. I'm putting the crunch on you. Like, no, man, let's get this 8 to 10 months. So absolutely. But like you said, you'll take it. If it happens, it happens. No, I definitely hear that. So yeah, I want to go back to that statement you made about, and I'm a paraphrase it. Want to make sure your team wins. Like this is just not about you winning. It's about your team winning. And so to me, that lets me know that you value relationship building. And so I want to get your viewpoint on relationships, right? Like, have they been beneficial to you? Have they, impacted you in a negative way, in a positive way? Like, what is your viewpoint on building relationships?
Building relationships is everything in business and in real estate. Without relationship building, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And most people that are successful in the space, probably wouldn't either, especially in commercial real estate space where, things can take years to develop. That the whole one call close and all that stuff sounds great. But you're really talking about probably a 10 to 20 call, close in this space. And if you're not building relationships, they're going to stop picking up the phone after about the third or the fourth time if you haven't shown you can bring them value. And that's one of the things that I preach to our team and, kind of, how we, got to the point where we have our sister company now is we want to bring value, when we're not just reaching out because we want something, how can we bring you value in the market? What are you going through right now? Because, we might be able to help with that on the back end, on the operations,
Yeah.
in regards to the market.
Yeah.
So for me, it's relationships are everything in this space. And it always is. I always try to bring value to the other side.
Yeah. And I think, we, of course, we haven't known each other, a long time, but what I do hear you very consistent with what you're saying, because you said that's one of the reasons why the sister company came into place is because you wanted to help people. And so you talking about you wanting to bring people value. Again, you've been showing that consistency since we've been talking, and like I said, of course, we haven't known each other a long time, but I can hear the consistency. Some people, they just say stuff, but the more you ask them questions, the more things come out. You're like, oh, okay, oh, okay, yeah, okay. You said this one thing, I got it written down here, but no, but just listening to you, man, you value people. You want to bring value to people. It don't seem like to me you see people just as a transaction. That no, this is just bigger than just that. And so, again, I appreciate that perspective, that fresh perspective, honesty, transparency, integrity. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So listen, Miss Math, I'm gonna ask you, man, like, Is there any other thing that you feel like we haven't said that you want to say? Is there any kind of word of encouragement, motivation, education that you want to give people? I just want to give you a chance maybe to give somebody something that you feel like, I think this would be good for them to hear.
Yeah, I mean, nothing easy is nothing worthwhile is gonna come easy, and that's anything that I've done, any business venture I've ever been a part of, you know, there's going to be trials and tribulations, and typically the more you go through, the bigger the reward. The harder times you're going through, the greater the prize is going to be, at the end of that. So I think that's something that I think in this day and age everyone wants things now. How can I have instant success? And it's a very transactional, screen based, society where, in business, nothing's going to come easy. Nothing's going to come fast. And, if you really want to get to, some larger goals, expect a lot of trials and tribulations. And I feel like God rewards you, for putting your head down and powering through and not throwing your hands up and going to find another opportunity,
Mm, mm, mm. I love it, man. I think when I think about trials, trials have a way of putting a fire to you to test kind of what you're made of, right? So it's like if you use the trial, the fire right, it will actually purify you and show like really the value that you really have for yourself. And so sometimes the trial, the fire from the trial is not to consume you, it's to refine you. And so I hear you 100%, let the trial refine who you are, push through, because on the other side of that, you are going to look back and realize that your value has just went up astronomically because you probably learned something through that trial that you would not have learned any other way. You know what I mean?
100%. I was in this space for a lot of years before I opened my own shop. And opening my own shop, I tell you, I learned more in that first year of than I did the previous 5. So it just opens you up to so many different areas that you might have been blind to before, and obviously that just makes you a more well-rounded leader at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said a well-rounded leader because I think for you, that shines bright because that's what you want to be. You want to be a well-rounded leader for the people that trust you, and that way you're leading them in the right way. And so I'm glad you said that. I think that's beautiful. Um, listen, if I appreciate you being here. If someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, sir?
Absolutely. Website, check out our website. It's storagepointcapital.com, just www.storagepointcapital.com. Should have my email address on there. And then obviously our sister company is www.storagepointadvisors.com. So, we're obviously an owner operator, but, we have our real niches. We have a brokerage arm for consulting, and for us, anyone that's interested in investing into the asset class, anyone that's interested in, selling something in the asset class, or, that needs help because their business might be hurting.
Mm.
Those are kind of all of our, specialties, and would love to chat with anyone that's, in need of any of those things. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.